Hi, it's Jeff Goldberg from jgsalespro.com and the Sales Pro Broadcast Network here with another tip to help you sell more effectively and increase your sales income. Today I'm going to answer a question from one of our viewers, Evangeline Cohn of Intel Systems. Thank you for writing in. I appreciate it, with a relevant topic. Evangeline wants to know, how do you stay positive when things aren't going so well for you in the world of sales? And that's a great question. I think there are several things you can do, Evangeline, and everyone else who's watching. It's important to understand that at some point we're all going to have a downturn in our sales career. So here are some tips for you to stay more positive and to turn things around when you need them to. And the first one is you've got to stay positive. If you allow yourself to get negative in sales, it's going to spread to everything you do. So it's crucial to remember that nothing is forever. And in sales, things can turn around in an instant. If you take a look at the news just yesterday, there was a terrible fire at the Notre Dame Cathedral in France. They're going to rebuild it. If you take a look at what happened here in New York in 2001, the World Trade Center was brought down. We have a new World Trade Center. So nothing's forever, and including this slight downturn in your sales, it's not forever either. So try to stay positive. The second thing is, and an easy way to do that, Evangeline, is to remember your past successes. I'm betting if you've been in sales for at least a little while, you've had some successes, and it's great to think about those. Think about a time that you closed a really big deal, or when you had a great quarter, or maybe you won a contest. I know that personally, I went skydiving years ago, and it's something I remember constantly when I'm a little bit down or when I am lacking courage. I will often sit and remember, wait a minute, you jumped out of an airplane from 2 miles up. I'm pretty sure you can pull yourself out of this slump. So remembering past successes and great things that you've done can easily help you to turn things around when things aren't going so well. I also believe in affirmations. I do affirmations twice a day. I'm not going to tell you everything I say, but when I'm walking the dog in the morning and again in the evening, I'm speaking out loud to myself and saying positive things. And it's important, I believe, Evangeline, when you're saying affirmations, that you actually say them out loud. If you say them in your mind, that's fine, but when you say them out loud, you actually hear yourself speaking, and that's an important thing. So for example, I always start out with things like, today is going to be an incredibly wonderful day, and everything is going to go terrific for myself and my family today. And you could probably make up 8 or 10 or 20 other things to say. And I find that when you say these things regularly, you start to believe them yourself. When you start to believe positive things, you start to take positive actions. And positive actions will lead to positive results. So another great way to pull yourself out when you're in a little bit of a slump is to keep doing your positive affirmations, or start doing them if you haven't so far. Something else which might not seem as important, but I think is to be healthy. Make sure you're getting enough sleep. And if you're under a lot of pressure at work or things aren't going so well in sales, sometimes that's tough. But make sure you go to sleep early enough and get a good night's sleep. Make sure that you're exercising if you're somebody who exercises. And I've only recently learned this myself about the importance of eating well. I recently cut sugar and flour out of my life, and I can tell you my energy level has quadrupled and my mental clarity has at least doubled. So take care of yourself physically when you're in a slump, and that should help you pull out too. And I'd also suggest, Evangeline, that it's important to have someone else to talk to. If we get into a bad place, we tend to have a lot of negative self-talk. And I'd prefer that you have somebody else other than yourself that you can speak to who can kind of pull you out of that. Now, I'm a sales coach and I'm somebody that people can speak to, but you don't have to pay someone. You can have a friend, a coworker, your manager, have somebody that you can have a chat with, because they'll be able to look at your situation in a way that you won't. They can think outside your box for you and actually look at your situation and probably offer some very good tips for pulling yourself out. And it's important that you absolutely positively prospect consistently when things aren't going well. If things aren't going terrific for you, then consistent prospecting is the key to turning things around. Consistent prospecting leads to enough appointments or enough conversations with prospects and enough sales. And you've probably heard me at the end of each of these videos say, make sales happen. Well, sales is a thing that you have to make happen. They tend to not just happen on their own. Whether you're calling people, dropping in on them, selling over the phone, selling through a website, you have to make sales happen. So get out there and do it, Evangeline, and everybody else who's watching today. Those are 5 or 6 tips that you can use to pull yourself out of a bad place when you're in a bit of a sales slump. We've all been there occasionally, because sales is a kind of a roller coaster. So I hope that was useful for you, Evangeline. As always, if you or anyone else has a particular topic you'd like to see covered, you can write to me at jeff@jgsalespro.com. jgsalespro.com. You can call me directly at 516-608-4136, or you can simply drop a note into the comments like Evangeline did, and I'll be happy to answer them. Thanks for watching. I hope this was useful for you, and be sure to make sales happen.